be himself. But do you feel confident about this trial lane?
Well, they've got to find this kill within the next minute or so. I'd say even 30 seconds. You talked about the weakness of the Tide. Level 1 to 2 is that point, along with the IO. They need to maximize that before any EXP starts flowing to this duo.
Well, for now, Paulson, he was just over pulling a creep wave, I believe. And yeah, there he is. Just pulling a creep wave over back behind his tier 1 tower. It's going to leave In Your Dream and Arfu just in the lane to try and abuse the side of Fnatic here up at this top lane. But I don't think they're really going to be able to do much. It's Masaros, if he really feels threatened, he can take the wave underneath the tier 1. For now, he's just going to hold it and try to keep the creep equilibrium going his way. I really don't think this bothers Masaros very much, especially considering Jabs is going to be able to heal him up with this IO.
Yeah, he's not going to have regen issues. He's already prepared for this as well with 2 Ring of Regen, so Masaros is just going to hold steady in that lane. We'll see if they do manage to pull out enough to really get something happening here. I think this is ample time to look at other lanes. You know, looking down mid, we've got Moon here with the Ember Spirit up against Abed on his Lesh, and we've seen the Lesh rack against Ember a couple of times. It is something that kind of goes around skill as well, though. Abed has gone for Split Earth and Diabolic Edict, so he is focusing more on wave clear, focusing on steady farm. If he does land a stun, that could be a bit deadly on Moon, but Moon should be able to sidestep around. He's got Slight Fist ready on hand as well, and level 2 shield, so it's going to be harder to just burn him out, but still got to be a bit cautious if you're Moon.
Well, he's going to be careful of that Edict. It is not magic damage, it is physical, John, and Moon is suffering quite a bit. He might go down. He tries to dodge out to the stun, still does actually sidestep it. Abed looking for 2 more hits perhaps, but no. Moon, he does have the bottle up. He'll be just fine. He also had a Fairy Fire and a Tango available in case he needed it. Abed, of course, with that Edict, can be very aggressive if Moon is not careful.
Oh yeah, it's pretty decent timing for Mundo to have this really early bottle, so he's going to get some regen up. He's ferrying out a couple more salves as well, just to sustain that lane. And of course, this does mean Moon will want to fight over his 4-minute power runes. Abed is pretty close to his bottle as well, though, and he is a little bit more topped up,
top
so
lane
can have to maintain.
Jabs is going to be the first blood here. Arfu able to pick it up, and that should give... In fact, In Your Dream didn't actually get the permanent agi, unfortunately for him. So he won't really get too much on the Slark for that, but Arfu definitely going to be very happy about getting that first blood gold on this Elder Titan. Of course, Masaros is still fairly unaffected, but Jabs does have to be very wary of getting pounced on. So he does tend to drop pretty quick if he does.
Yeah, it's a really squishy IO hand. You have to remember that once you get some damage up on Afu with that Astral Spirit, it doesn't take him too long to really twack away. Even Masaros is not as tanky as he'd expect to be, especially if he misses his Anchor Smash. So, gotta watch that back and forth. Still a steady top lane right now. Last hits are looking even, although the stop does come out.
Masaros, well, he's in a lot of trouble here. Essence Shift stacks are out. Masaros tries to go for the Anchor Smash, but will go down again. And I've got to give props to the side of Team Dog on this top lane, John. They are doing a great job thus far. We talked about the timing of the Slark. Level 2, level 3, you are feeling very strong up against this Tide. In Your Dream, he's timed it perfectly.
Oh yeah, he's definitely on a really good start. He's got his Magic Wand ready as well with some great amount of charges up. So he's got burst heal in case Fnatic decides to play aggressive. And the Slark already off to a fantastic start. Number 1 in last hits, couple of kills in the assist belt.
Bot lane.
In Your Dreams really set up.
The one lane we haven't talked about quite yet, John. Raven and DJ on that Drow and Venge up against Ice just by himself on the Darkseer. They do manage to get a kill onto that Darkseer eventually. Raven, of course, going to be very happy with that one as he was the one to pick up the kill on the Drow. He'll be able to just keep his free farm up on this Drow Ranger. I guess it's not quite as bad as how the top lane is going for Fnatic right now. But then again, it is still a Drow. She's going to be very happy with that bonus gold. And you even look at Raven's items. He's already got the boots as well as the double Wraith bands up. He's very happy right now.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of opportunities here to keep the stacks up. DJ just building up in that triangle. There are some really good early wards here, though, from the side of Team Dog, so they are aware of the build-up, and they should be able to contest down the line. Paulson's the one here that you don't really see too much, although he's going down mid.
Jabs? Arfu trying to go after him, but now they're going to turn back around with Masaros and Jabs, and Arfu going to salve up to be able to survive. I thought Jabs was just definitely dead there. He ran back in after Arfu and got stomped and was one hit away from dying, but does manage to barely get away with his life intact.
Yeah, and I believe that's all bounty runes as well, heading the side of Team Dog. So they get a good amount of gold injected, along with just kind of surviving and forcing out some trades. And overall, they're happy campers here on the Radiant side. 2-1, 1k lead. First set of bounties going their way, and solid farm up. There is some catch up here from Raven, as you mentioned, on the Drow, on bot, but I think you are having a pretty good time with Isis Heist farm. He's definitely having a better time than Masaros, which means that your Darkseer's timings are going to be a bit faster, and of course the Darkseer can just dip into the jungle as well to build up that farm.
Yeah, absolutely, and actually mid lane, there's a bit of a group up here. 3 Radiant heroes in that mid lane, but Moon, he's going to run to the other side of the river and pull the creep wave away and just try to get some really efficient farming going on with this Flame Guard. Paulson, he's going to try and interrupt. I don't think he can really do too much here. Moon will practically get all that farm on the Ember. So Paulson, while he did try, Moon going to be very happy with that. Only problem being, though, that while he was doing that, Abed was able to take the tier 1 tower. And that is a pretty big deal for the side of Team Dog.
And that's what we were looking for here from Abed. He makes a good rotation out to this triangle, and yeah, that's just so much farm they've got to contest.
Yeah, that's a lot of farm to take. Moon, he's going to come in with Jabs and DJ. They stun him up. Abed, he has gone too far. But on the brighter side, he did steal away all those creeps before he did go down. So you did get the gold for yourself on the Leshrac, and you did deny it away from Raven, but it did cost him his life. So it is a bit like, was it really worth it?
Oh, bot lane.
Bot lane, Ice and Paulson. Run after DJ, but Jabs is there with the block, and now Raven just man-fighting, does take him out. Paulson a bit overly confident now. Ice, trying to fight back, but he cannot. In fact, he was just trying to run away. Props to Raven. He understood his strengths on the Drow Ranger and just fought back. He was not afraid of the double iron shells.
You've got to watch yourself when you do commit on the Drow. Like, as long as the IO's around, again, his combination is just so strong and machine gunning heroes down. Raven showing great restraint there, and of course Jabs just there to back up is right. Now, that was pretty early of a use of the wall coming out from Isis Ice. You don't tend to see that from Darkseers, but you can see the emphasis on Team Dog to get this early game rolling. They have fallen a bit behind. We're still sub 10 minutes in, but it's 2-4 now, and they need to keep that momentum going here for Dog if they don't want to start lagging here.
I do agree. Moon still kind of being hunted here in this mid lane, but he does manage to walk away once again, and he just pulls the creep wave, gets back to farming. Just fine. Paulson keeping tabs on this Ember and just soaking a bit of XP off him. Ultimately, Paulson is not going to be able to do too much to stop him from this. Meanwhile, Raven. That dire triangle, John, he's started to farm up those ancient stacks, and that's going to help him escalate quite a lot. He doesn't really take him as fast as you'd like to see, but it is a Drow Ranger after all. All he can really do is use the split shot and just keep hitting away. Abed. Top lane, Abed, he got very low. He might die to that tier 2 tower. He's trying to heal up, but he does end up going down. At the very least, he does kill off Masaros first.
I'd say that's worthwhile. It drags some heroes up top as well, so DJ shows himself up top. He's still fairly safe in your dream. You've got your ult, and they get to invade this upper jungle. So they're keeping these camps in check, denying more area farm from Fnatic, and they might look to keep playing aggressive here, just keeping that pressure and punishing Fnatic while they're playing this farming game.
Oh, in your dream. Nice pounce out. He has caught out DJ, and DJ's definitely going to go down. In your dream, he's been performing very nicely thus far, and I did say this earlier on, John, but so far he's been involved in every single kill of his team. He's got 1 kill, 3 assists on this Slark, and he's going to be pretty happy with that, with 3 permanent agility as well. Bot lane?
That's
yeah, Paulson. Ends up getting caught out in this Void Spirit again. Raven was there with Masaros and pretty much the rest, and they do get the kill.
And this is going to be a hurting point for Team Dog. We talked about the Void Spirit falling behind. Paulson's just about hit 5, maybe edging on 6 once he pops the Tome. But this has been a really slow start for our Void Spirit. The Yules is going to be quite a fair bit until it's done as well. The one thing is, again, Team Dog's getting a good push out, although they're trying to stall out this bot push. Wald's been committed, but that's not going to stop Raven in his range.
No, it really isn't, especially while DJ's around on that Vengeful Spirit. And Raven, he can just tank the tower like this. He does not care as long as Jabs is around on that IO. Of course, while that's happening, however, Abed is taking a tier 2 tower. So, it's not really worth to get these trades here for Fnatic in terms of towers. And Abed, understanding this, will continue applying this pressure on the Leshrac. I'd say Fnatic should be kind of worried about how many towers they have lost thus far.
Yeah, they've not really traded well so far. They've only got that tier 1 bot. The mid-tier 2 of Team Dog still stands, and that's going to be a major point of contention here. They've still gotten complete control on the top jungle for the side of Team Dog, so the farming areas for Fnatic have really shrunk. They are hitting some good farming spikes on Raven. Masaros is sort of keeping up with Isis Ice, which is not really where you want the tie to be. Gonna have to see the build-up for Fnatic to start to kick in, but Team Dog, again, they're playing this early game perfectly, and this is what we wanted from the draft. They just need to start looking at the last pieces of the map, really start locking in, maybe wait for that one major item on In Your Dream. He did opt for the Midas build in the Slark, and he is going to rush into that Echo Saber right after.
A Midas build up on the Slark, John. How do you feel about that? Is that the right decision?
I'd say it's a confident pickup, right? In Your Dream sees that they're kind of winning. He wants to keep that snowball going. The Midas does allow him to get a lot more EXP up. I don't think it's too bad, but it could bite them in the bum. Like the moment In Your Dream drops, like the moment he gets one death, I think that's when you start to question the Midas. And when he dies twice in a row, if that does happen, then the Midas is not going to do much. So In Your Dream has to ensure that the momentum stays up, and he's got to be very careful with his positioning. Fortunately for him, he's fine.
He's been caught out, the Radiant jungle. He really has no way out of this as the gust does come out from Raven. Great smoke out from the side of Fnatic, and you were kind of talking about how well Ice was farming in comparison to Masaros. He does go down now. Still, a counter smoke now is out from the side of Team Dog. They're going to loop right behind, and they will run straight into the other offlaner. Masaros cannot survive this much damage. He will go down as well. So 1-for-1 on both off lanes, and I'd say that's a rather even trade. There wasn't really too much different about them.
They waste the same amount of resources, smoke for smoke. I am looking at the build-up in these offlaners, though. I have to say, Masaros' build-up, it's another strange one. This is something he does with his Tide every single time. We've seen him go Desolator Tide early on. We've seen him go for the standard mech. We've seen him do Blink Rush. This time, it's Force Staff into Blade Mail Blink. So,
wow.
Again, something very different for the Tide. I don't know about the Blade Mail. I can see the Force Staff being somewhat useful here, but the Blade Mail strikes me as slightly odd. It's one way to punish Abed, because he can't flick off his spells. At least he can't flick off Diabolic Edict every single time. But it's also strange. Like, you might maybe opt for an AoE item first. We'll see if this does pan out for Masaros once these items fly in.
I mean, I guess it also helps up against the Iron Shots of Ice. Though that isn't going to be quite as good as against the Edict, but maybe even In Your Dream Slark could cause a few issues without that Blade Mail up, though. Mern was just playing around a bit with the Slark, and it's just going to back off. So a 5-7 so far. We're 14 minutes in. In fact, I said he was playing with the Slark, but it was Ice on the Darkseer is what I meant. Everyone seems to be very comfortable just chilling out and farming for now. But if there's one person that really enjoys farming, it is going to be someone like Raven, who is known to farm at a very, very quick pace. He's currently top of the net worth board on this Drow Ranger. I do think this is something you are going to be somewhat worried about if you are Team Dog. Sure, you found heaps of objectives early on, but it is still a Drow Venge you're up against. It's going to be very scary later on if this Drow is able to keep up the farm the way she is.
Yeah, and they basically left Raven pretty much uncontested, besides those true early rotations.
He's in the triangle, but he is able to rim it out of there. Just go straight back towards the north, but you were saying, John.
It's they've really just not punished Raven. You're finding some good pacing here on In Your Dream as well. Echo Saber's up. He is rushing his BKB, so we're not seeing anything like the Silver Edge rush. We're not seeing anything to help him with mobility or stats. Just wants to stand and fight. Once you have this BKB, of course, you take out the Ravage as the big control option and the Chain. So you lose out on the utility that Moon and Masaros bring out, and that's something Fnatic will have to be cautious about. As Moon,
he's getting caught out here, but nice sleight of fist dodge out from Moon. Still, does he have any remnants? He does, but he will eventually use them. He was just waiting till the latter stages of his HP bar going down, and as I say that, Paulison was still on the chase there for Moon, but he does manage to walk away. He's just fine. Meanwhile, the mid lane, Fu gonna run into jabs, but he does have the Glimmer Cape. They also found In Your Dream on the Slark, but he's gonna turn back around onto Masaros. Ross has to be a bit careful here. He does have the Echo Saber up now on that Slark, so he's able to get a lot more damage out. In fact, he does go onto DJ instead, and DJ is going to go down. He could not TP out in time.
It's a decent pickup In Your Dream again. Happy with getting another stack of Agi up, so it's going to be perfectly fine. 4 stacks isn't the biggest, but it has been a relatively slow game. 6-7, 2K lead on Team Dog's side. They are rotating again up top.
They are. Well, nice remnant out with the Split Earth, and this time around Moon cannot escape his own death. Still a TP in from the IO. They do relocate. Raven, he'll go after the Void Spirit rather than trying for the left track. He did TP out on a nice multi-shot. He's going to be there from Raven. Back into the mid lane. They didn't quite get the target they wanted in Arbet, but they still got something very nice for themselves, and they are going to move into that mid-tier 1 tower now. Vacuum was there from Ice with the Split Earth out, but they do miss. They are kind of reliant on hitting that Vacuum first if they do want that combination. Ice, he doesn't really have any mobility items apart from that inbuilt surge he does have. Just could not land it though.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but that is enough to stop Fnatic's push. So Fnatic are still sort of clumped up. They've still got Ravage ready to go for Masaros, which we haven't seen popped in a long time. Let's see if they do want to start fighting around it. There is still that lead on Team Dog's side, but they do have map control. So it's a weird situation where there's a slight net worth lead here for Team Dog, and Fnatic are just, they're not out of it yet, of course. They've still got power in their drought, but they haven't really gotten an equality in map control, which is really where they're falling behind. You can see, again, Team Dog just invading that top jungle. They've got good control in their own bot jungle, and they're just not scared. They're just farming up fairly well. Their farm distribution's a bit tighter between In Your Dream and Abed, and Abed's just doing fantastic work keeping that top lane constantly shoved in.
I think both teams are doing quite well in this game so far. I mean, my concern is still Raven on that drought. For the sake of Team Dog and what Raven is doing right now. He is almost at that BKB now, John. Just about 300 gold off, and that is going to cause some problems here for the side of Team Dog, as you are going to lose a lot of your damage once that BKB is up. You pretty much will be solely relying on In Your Dream to get the jump onto this Drow Ranger. But it's not really going to be enough while Jabs is there on the IO healing her up at the same time. You start to wonder, Team Dog, have they not necessarily waited too long, but they haven't really done too much up against Raven, still mid lane. They do jump into Masaros, but now Moon with a nice double chains out. They do have the Ravage. Masaros, not going to throw it out quite yet. He is a very patient man. Moon's going to jump in with a remnant, but is not going to commit all the way. Now the chains are out, still onto In Your Dream, but Arbed is threatening with a stun. He won't get it out yet, still Vacuum, or rather Wall, has been dropped from Ice, but he just melts so darn quick to Raven. Now they're onto Arfu. He'll Glimmer Cape, but they have the dust there with the multi-shot out, and Arfu should eventually go down, and does to Raven on the Drow Ranger. A double kill out for our Drow. And it looks like they want the Roshan play.
This is going to be a really quick rush for them to take. They don't have to worry about that wall. There is still the ET ult if he does respawn in time, but this is going to be very quick. You've got a lot of damage coming through, minus armor from the Venge, and they've even got a casual medallion just to really make this rush melt. I have to say I'm surprised with how cautious Masaros is with a Ravage pick. They've won all of these fights without popping a big Ravage, and that's just something to worry about for Team Dog. Like, you're going in, you're popping wall, you're not finding these kills, and they can keep fighting because Ravage is constantly up.
Afu, he's shown in that mid lane, John. Moon is going to catch him out with the chains there, and Raven easily going to be able to just take him out as Jabs. We'll start with the voice lines now. I think Fnatic, they realize how powerful they are in this this current position. As well as that, John, I just don't think they're getting any weaker with this draft. I can't see them getting any weaker.
No, they're really not. They've got a lot of room to scale. Moon is just about to finish his own BKB. So this Ember Spirit, who's done a lot of work, like Moon is just standing in front, constantly playing poke. He's forcing these responses out from Team Dog, and Team Dog have to tank twice. Like, they've been trying so hard in the Ember, they've missed a couple of times every time they go in. It's just so hard to catch him out without any hard stuns. And their setup is like a Eul's. A Eul's are a stomp and a sleep if they can catch it, or to vac into stun, which is also hard. So I think Team Dog has to change their sights, look for the backline if they can. This is where the Midas into BKB with the Echo Saber is starting to hurt in your dream. He has no easy way to get into these fights. So there's no way to find the drow in the backline. Paulson's a bit too low. So they're just kind of forced to catch whoever comes up, and that's almost always going to be Moon.
Paulson, he almost got caught out there by the gust. Raven, unable to connect it. Still, in the meantime, Abed has farmed up that Aghanim Scepter now. I believe In Your Dream also has a BKB up now. So the farm is slowly escalating for Team Dog. As Masaros pump fakes the Ravage, I just realized he still hasn't Ravaged once this game, which is, you know, classic Masaros. Just holding on to the exact right moment. We are 22 minutes in without one Ravage being thrown out. He just hasn't needed it. In we go, Fnatic. They've smoked up, they found Arfu and DJ. He'll get 4-star forward with a nice dust out and a stun, and that's going to be Arfu going down. They just continue farming. There's not really much else to do here for Fnatic.
Yeah, I mean, they've got control on that bot jungle. They're holding on to it. You can see Team Dog still playing in that top jungle, getting that farm split up. They are slightly ahead here in Team Dog, but not by much anymore. It's just a 1k lead, not too meaningful at 22 minutes in. Even Dota Plus does give Team Dog a slight edge, but it has kind of flatlined. Like, it was a little bit higher earlier, Mike, and, well, they haven't really accomplished much, and they're allowing Fnatic to find these objectives.
Yeah, I do believe Dota Plus was giving them that advantage based off the objectives they had taken earlier on. It's not like they're out of the game by any stretch. I mean, the net worth is still slightly in their favor. We just haven't seen much out of them for a while now. They are playing a very patient game, Team Dog. Just waiting for their right moment. I'm looking at it In Your Dream on the Slark. He hasn't queued anything else up yet after that BKB, so I'm very curious as to what it's going to be. And it is going to be the Eye of Skadi. He does just queue it up now. So, Eye of Skadi coming out soon. Top lane, they found out Moon, but they do not have the control for him. In fact, Relocate was there with Raven and Jabs, and Raven will help Moon get another kill, this time onto Paulson. Paulson, the Void Spirit, having a very tough game so far. Just dying 4 times with 0 kills. He's not having a great time at all, and now they even chase down Arfu. He has been dusted up. Raven trying to get in distance to try and get some frost arrows off, but he cannot in the end. It won't matter though. He just groups up with his team again. They know they can still 5v5 because they do still have the Ravage up. And they do go into the tier 2 mid tower.
I mean, we're acting like Ravage has ever gone on cooldown, Mike. It's never been popped, right? Like, it's 24 minutes now, it's still not single Ravage. Who needs it? Look, a free tier 2 without Ravage. Big victory for Fnatic. Who needs to press R?
Well, in some way, you can kind of realize how kind of genius it is, right? Because Team Dog don't want to fight into the team 5v5 because they know it's up. The problem is, it's just never down. Like, it's at some stage, if you're Team Dog, you are going to have to go for a 5v5, and it's going to almost guarantee to be available because he's just not using it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, you know, we were talking about his build-up. He doesn't even go for the Blade Mail because he realizes he's barely fighting with Fnatic. You know, he's not even out there. Again, it's Moon throwing his body in front, and the fact that Masaros went for this blink Force Staff, just full mobility, and is not using it in any meaningful way. That just spells trouble here for Team Dog. And look, it's that great high ground push for the Drow. Look at that range. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah. The classic balanced Drow Venge combination. You love to see it. Surprisingly, John, Raven did not find a Grove Bow, which is, I can't believe my eyes, John. I feel like every time we watch a Drow, they have a Grove Bow, but now Vacuum, War, and Split Earth all connecting with DJ. A nice swap out and a relocate away from Jabs to make sure DJ also survives. It's going to be very hard time catching out Raven as they have so many ways of saving it. Maybe now they can get it done. Jabs, the one in trouble, but another nice swap out from DJ. Moon jumps in. Now the Ravage being committed, connecting on two heroes. They found one in Your Dream, and Ice, he's in big trouble. He's trying to make a run, but Raven just getting the damage out. He cannot run away from this. He will go down into the tier 3 tower. Abed, he's trying to force them back. Maybe they get Moon, and they do. The Ember does go down, but Raven, he's not done. He'll keep fighting into Arfu now. That silence, it just lasts forever, but Masaros, he goes a bit too far. He will end up dying. Polison, able to set up for that one. Abed back in now. After Jabs, he gets another. In fact, he found two more. A triple kill for Abed. Now Raven getting caught out by the Aether Remnant. Raven trying to run Abed. He's just waiting for the right time. He connects the Split Earth. He's out of mana now. Raven, he takes down one. He's going to have to try and man-fight this out. Polison needs to try and run with the Dissimulate. Looks like he will be alright. Abed, he's going for a chase, but he just doesn't have the mana pool to keep going. But they do successfully defend, and in terms of team fight, John, it's a 3-for-4 trade, so you'd argue that Team Dog did win out on that side of things.
Definitely. Like, they finally force out the Ravage, they get a lot of kills on Abed in the end, and they're pretty darn happy. I think Fnatic's decision to bypass anything like a pipe is definitely hurting them here. The early BKBs can only do so much once they're on cooldown. I mean, Abed just saw that opportunity after waiting for those BKBs to fade out. After the Ravage came out, just came in. The Ags is just doing so much work for him while he has his ult up, and his damage is just relevant. I think Fnatic needs to consider maybe some Glimmer Capes coming through of their own, maybe finishing up this pipe on Masaros next just to mitigate Abed's damage output, because he is the star of the show right now.
Oh, Moon, he could be in trouble here. Polison, great Yule's out with the Aether Remnant. Gonna lock him down, and Abed does have the stun, and Moon will go down again. It's at that point you can't really underestimate the catch that Polison and Abed do have together. And we'll have to be a little bit more cautious about those kind of pushes. He's definitely trying to do the right thing there by pushing out that bot lane, but well, you can say the same for Arfu now. Getting caught out by Raven, and Raven is 10-0-5 on this Drow Ranger. Having the easiest game of his life so far. And, even though the net worth lead is the way of Team Dog, they're not the ones that are really being too aggressive here unless they find an easy pick, like the one we saw down at that bot lane just a moment ago.
Yeah, they're being a little bit more cautious. They're still waiting for this major item in Your Dream. Again, he's kind of lagged behind after the BKB. It's not like he's falling too far behind, but it's just Raven's doing a lot better in efficiency. So they're waiting out the Scotty on the Slark first before going through. I think they understand that Abed's position is very, it's a tight war. Like, the moment Abed drops, that's going to cost a lot of gold to slide away. It could be enough to start seeing the Leshrac fall behind with a couple of major item pickups. So he's being a little bit more cautious, just playing that wave-shoving gameplay. And again, it's down to something we talked about earlier.
Your Dream?
They don't want to force it.
Jumps into Moon. Moon is still playing around with him here. Wants to keep fighting. In Your Dream, not afraid. Shadow Dance will come out. Polison, he never really went in for the Yules into the Aether Remnant. He didn't really have much else to go after that. I suppose the BKB was there anyway. Still, Fnatic looking at that Roshan. Won't go for it yet. They'll check the triangle. Raven having his own Eye of Skadi now on that Drow. Go after the, just the ancient stacks, just taking whatever they can for the moment. Just preoccupying the triangle. Same can be said for the side of Team Dog, though. They're doing the exact same thing. Abed looking at Masaros in the mid lane with a nice back split. Earth, however, will not land. The Force Staff was there in time, and it's like Jabs, he was preemptively going for the relocate. does end up using it for nothing. But they will still just go for a straight quick Roshan. And it looks like they are going to be able to get away with it in time.
Yeah, this is going to be a second rush, so Aegis Cheese now coming in and roll.
Yeah, Yules is out with the Aether Remnant onto Moon, but now Ice has been caught on that Darks here. He'll surge away, but Moon is on the chase. Earth Splitter is going to be nice from Arfu. Moon still chasing, but the Gust doesn't connect, and now a big backwall coming out onto 4 heroes, but where is your follow-up? They do get one in the form of DJ. Jabs also falling low now on the IO, trying to run away, but these illusions, they're doing a lot of damage to him. Ooh. A great stomp out, connecting on 3 as well as Arbit, trying to move in, but Moon is holding them back on the Ember. They catch out Raven now, but he's willing to just fight back. He'll go after Arfu, who's just trying to run, but he is underneath the Sentry Ward, so the Glimmer Cape will do nothing. Fnatic, it was a bit of a topsy-turvy kind of team fight, but it is going to be a 1-for-1 in the end. They do start moving into that mid lane once again.
And the big advantage here for Fnatic is they hold on to the Ravage. So we saw wall drop, we saw vac wall combination out. Masura still has a Ravage to play with if they want to force the high ground. And that's going to be something that's on the back of Team Dog's mind as they play this defense game.
Oh, Moon gets a BKB off in time. He almost got stuck down by that Remnant. Trying to get those waves pushed out once again. Does try a quick Remnant there, just by Polison. It's a cheeky one from Moon. Very unnecessary from our Ember Spirit, but yeah, sometimes you've got to, you know, just be a bit of a BM play, I suppose I'd call it.
Yeah, just styling, just being efficient. He wanted those creeps first, cleared them out, so you know he gets the full amount of farm. They're slowly chipping away here, Fnatic. While they know those heroes are stuck bot, they're clearing out that top tier 2 last outer tower here of Team Dog. We've got to be a bit cautious as the map really starts to shrink down here. They've lost that lead. It's down to 1k, 13 to 18. Again, Ravage is still in the pool, and you still have the cheese to play with. You've still got a lot of HP. I did just realize Jabs has the Aegis. I don't know if that was on purpose, if they were rushing to pick up, but I think he wanted cheese instead. You make do with what you have, I suppose.
It's alright, Jabs is an important part of the team, John. He deserves the Aegis. Aether Remnant going to come out onto Raven. I mean, on the brighter side, you know, if he dies once, at least Raven doesn't really need it, right? He's got DJ, he's got Jabs there. He doesn't need an Aegis. He's been saved plenty of times. Tier 3 tower. Repair kit, of course, going to be found by Team Dog. Raven does not really give 2 craps. He's just going to keep hitting away. It's going to be a little bit harder, though, with that repair kit around. Looks like they are eventually just going to back off.
Yeah, just a safe play here from Fnatic, understanding that, well, repair kit makes it super hard. There is a smoke here from Team Dog. Can they find an opening here?
Definitely feel like they need one right now. Moon would be a nice one. He does still have the BKB available, though, as well as a Haste Room. But Polison going to jump in. It does connect the Aether Remnant. They got the silence. They got the split open. Massaros is there with the Ravage now. It will not be enough to save his own life, but Moon is still just trying to run away here. Slide of Fist, Remnant out. Raven in the middle of all this, trying to fight back. He is trying, but he's been swapped out by DJ. Relocate will be there by Jabs. And it looks like Team Dog do successfully win out this team fight. Moon does also manage to run away, but they are going to lose DJ. They do lose Massaros. That'll give a bit of an opening now to Team Dog, especially considering they know the Ravage is down.
Yeah, that's a massive opening here for Team Dog. They can look for this last tier 2 now. I think it was a bit of a mistake. Like, Moon was playing on the edge again. The fact that he misses BKB forced Massaros to jump in, and he had to pop the Ravage. So there was enough time there for Team Dog to pop their own BKBs, make sure the Ravage didn't pay off. And Fnatic, well, they're just kind of stuck in this awkward spot. They lose the lead once more. Their Aegis is good for about 40 seconds, 48 seconds, so not too much time left on that second life on Jabs. They might want to just wait for the next Roche. So we're talking about maybe 7 more minutes, 8 more minutes more to wait and just kind of reset. Go for the Roche with the Aegis cheese plus an item and see how that takes you. Because I think right now Aegis on Jabs just doesn't give them opportunities to play as risky. But looks like they're not too scared as they do walk towards the triangle.
Oh, they've smoked up here. Side of Team Dog, they want to try and sneak and loop around on the side of Fnatic. Bit of a pincer move here. Relocate is going to be out from Jabs. Raven, he'll get started onto Arbed. Yule's up. Paulson jumps in. In Your Dream, meanwhile, straight onto that IO. They do get the one life, but he will respawn. Meanwhile, Raven, he got Arbed on that left track. DJ going to swap him out. Masros also there with the 4-staff now. Ice, trying to chase down the Drow, but Raven eats the cheese. He will continue surviving. Gets a gust out as well. They are just making sure that nobody can touch Raven's Masros. He is going to go down, and so will Jabs. And Ice, he'll keep up the chase. Onto Moon now, but he does have a remnant out. You still lose 3 on the side of Fnatic. Team Dog, of course, they did have the buyback there on Arbed, so it does cost them something, but it was definitely well worth it for Team Dog.
Oh, for sure. They get the lead back on their side, 4K now, to their advantage. They managed to punish Masaros again. Fnatic were forced to take a fight while Ravage is down. By the time our Tide respawns, so he will have Ravage up. They can easily buy back if they wanted to. This high ground is pretty terrifying. Like, if Abed makes his way down mid, these towers will not hold for too long.
No, they will not. Moon, he's trying to hold them back with those Sleight of Fist spams. In Your Dream, just going to pounce out of there and just be fine, but a double chains is there from Moon. I don't really believe they can try to capitalize off these chains right now. They are going to just back off, back into their base. Just accept the fact that they did protect the high ground. But he was really nowhere to be seen there. It's like he was just focusing in on trying to get some farm up. Starting to understand he will need that BKB up now on the left track to feel really safe in these team fights. Looks like he probably isn't going to intend to fight any further until that BKB is up and ready.
Yeah, it's going to be steady build up for him. Now, Fnatic does have a window here. Yeah, of course. You get the perfect item up as well.
Yeah, Timeless Relic. He does keep the Spider Legs. So looking to give that over to someone else. Fnatic, meanwhile, smoked up into the Radiant Triangle they go. You're not going to find anyone. Arfu was around just a few seconds ago, but he did make the run away. They are going to miss out. They should know they are smoked up now. Looks like Fnatic, they will give up on that smoke attempt. They'll just get back to farming those tier 4 items themselves. Now Refresh Orb is up on Ice, John. So you've got the double vacuum wall, and as well as that, he did find a Spell Prism. So all cooldowns are much lower now. And this could be a very, very scary timing if you are on the side of Fnatic.
Oh, it definitely is. I think this is the reason why you see Darkseer get adjustments towards vacuum. The decimal points really help out here. It's going to be really big the moment he gets a double wall, double vac, and they do smoke up. They want to play with a Siphon Spike.
Yeah, they definitely do. Like In Your Dream, going to start scouting out here. Wave will do it for them. Paulson going to jump in first, but misses the Remnant. Still just moves in with that Aghanim Scepter, silencing everyone up, and Masaros is dropping low. They'll heal him up, but no, he does go down, and now In Your Dream onto Raven. They swap him out, but Arbed has the control. Ooh. They take down the supports, and Raven looks like he might just take his death, and he will. They finally end up getting that pesky Drow Ranger. The only person to get away with his life intact is going to be Moon on the Ember. But that is a 4-for-0 trade for Team Dog, and they have a huge net worth lead now. 11k going the way of the Radiant.
And this is where Team Dog's lineup really starts to shine. They've got so much going with him with the Darkseer. A late game wall just does so much work, and Ice has managed to maximize his refresh reveal there. They're going to go straight for the objectives, and again, you've got Abed around, Diabolic Edict up, level 26, 25 talents in play, although he didn't go for the Edicts. These objectives will not hold for long.
I mean, Raven doesn't have buyback. So for the next 40 seconds, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place if you're Fnatic. How do you defend these barracks without your Drow Ranger? It seems as though Team Dog are somewhat aware of this, as the buyback just has not come out. Will they go for a secondary? It looks like they will not. They will pay respect to the side of Fnatic. They will back off, but luckily for them, John, there is a third Roshan, and that does have an Aghanim's upgrade on it.
That's going to be really big. I wonder who they actually give the upgrade to. Maybe free up a slot in Abed, maybe hand it to Ice. perhaps even IYD, or I'm not sure. Maybe no. They all have their respective big ads. So let's see who that does go for. But the second life here, the cheese as well allows him a lot, and yeah, why not? Like everyone else has their big ones.
Is that still the parallel wars? No, it's the wall length. Okay.
Yeah, it's the wall length and the cooldown in Vax. So it's a 12-second cooldown plus a spell prism reduction. So you do the maths. That's pretty balanced. That's why he's constantly nerfed.
9.6 seconds for Vacuum now. Excellent. See how this one works out. Ice actually cancelling a TP off there. Very nice from him. You've got to love this if you're Ice because you're just not worried about throwing that Vacuum out casually anymore. It's just, it's a free time. It's an actual skill that you can use without having to wait 2 hours. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's outstanding that it's locked behind a neutral drop. Still, we're seeing some build-up here as well on the side of Fnatic. They are 24k behind. They've lost a massive momentum swing their way. So you can see Raven is saving up for a Divine now. Just going for the Divine Drow. It is about that time in the game. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. We've seen Divines fall flat a couple of times, so Raven's got to really watch his spacing. His team has to play absolutely perfectly, and this is the point where the Drow Venge starts to become all about proper positioning and engagement, and it's a lot more forgiving for Team Dog to start these fights.
Forgot to mention, by the way, DJ did find a telescope, but Raven, he's been jumped right now. DJ cannot swap at the moment, so Jabs will get the relocate off. They will lose DJ. Jabs, they know he's going to come back sometime. So they'll probably find an IO for their trouble, and it looks like they will. A nice pounce out from In Your Dream. Both those heroes do have buybacks available, but Team Dog, they're going to try and force it right here and right now. There's your buyback from DJ as the Ravage does come out. Masteros connecting onto Abed, able to get away, but In Your Dream, not quite as lucky, but he is a tanky boy, and he does have that Aegis of the Immortal. In fact, the Vacuum Wall is there from Ice. He caught 3 of them onto the IO, onto DJ, onto Raven. They do take down all 3 as Masteros also goes down on Moon. He'll be the last one left, but they've called GG. A full team wipe out for Team Dog. And you know what, John? I said multiple times they would not be able to deal with Fnatic in the later stages of the game. Team Dog, they proved me completely wrong.
Yeah, they play it perfectly. They hunker down. They look for Fnatic to give them an opening. I hate kind of repeating myself, but it really feels like that the Aegis rush given to Jabs instead of a bigger core. I mean, you could kind of justify that by saying that Jabs might have been dying too fast. At the same time, it needed to be on their initiator. It needed to be on Moon or Masteros to have the Aegis. The cheese would have been really good in Jabs. I think that's what they were going for. And because they couldn't maximize that rush, their high ground was just super awkward. They had to think twice about that. That was their big opportunity, and they lost the fight. It fell apart. And Team Dog, they had the resilience. They held on long enough. Paulson was really the one that bounced back there. You know, like we were talking about the Void Spirit support falling behind a bit too slowly. He managed to find his farm. He got his heals, and he could make the plays and start to punish Moon. And they just built off of that.
They certainly did. Of course, with that, John, that was Game 1. We do have Game 2 coming up in just about 10 minutes. It's MLP Dota and Tron X Fire. We'll be back with you ASAP for that second game between Team Dog and Fnatic. See you soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for the second game between Team Dog and the side of Fnatic. It is MLP Dota and John Expired. John, gotta extend my apologies to the viewers out there. Of course, the timer did end up being wrong. One of the players were having some internet issues, so you'll have to excuse us. Apart from that, though, John, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. We had a pretty fantastic game one. Fnatic looked good fairly early on. Their Drow strat was off to a running start. They were playing so well that Masaros barely used his Ravage, but one bad push up the high ground, one overextension was all it took, and Team Dog did find that opening. You have to be careful when playing that aggressive against a team like Team Dog. They can punish overextensions like that. They are a team that is still a force to be reckoned with. You know, it's almost like they're the replacement of good old Among Us, almost, right? Abed's still in, but everything else is really shuffled around. But it's that same spirit, so no team can really underestimate them. And Fnatic, if they want a drawn series here, they're going to have to pull out all the stops and play a much cleaner game 2 here.
Well, that game 1 loss is going to hurt a bit, right? I mean, you had such a great start. Raven at one stage, I think he was 12-0 on this Drow Ranger at one stage, and it felt like as soon as he died for the first time, that was it. They just could not. It seemed like Team Dog got that kind of push they needed to just start going high ground and trying to finish off the game, and that is exactly what they did. I kind of wonder now what kind of draft Fnatic go into to try and win out this game number 2, because it seemed like their first draft was quite strong. They kind of had a bit of everything. I'm really not sure what was lacking that game around.
I think this time around they're going to have to look somewhere else. So we might see jabs on a bit more active hero. Like you can see the Aya was banned out. The Enchantress is taken out as well. Fnatic, for their part, are ensuring that the Lesh don't come in here along with the Slaughter. So a lot of team fighters are actually in pool. The first phase ban Magnus is still there. We still see our Moira is there. Our Phoenix is there. So you have a lot of options to pivot towards a team fight oriented lineup instead. Fnatic maybe eyeing the Raven faces Void. That could be something that comes out here, or a Terrorblade down the line if they want to push. Team Dog, though, start safe. Pick up the clock. A lot of heroes to combine that with, as we've mentioned. Moira's would be nice if you just want to go into something stable, but they might go for something that just keeps it really open. And Clockwork is a hero that we've seen really last throughout, I don't know, the past 3 patches, or at the very least, almost the entirety of 2020. Has been very effective across all roles, so it's a really straightforward pick for Team Dog.
Absolutely. It's the first pick for Fnatic. They're going to have a bit of a think about this one and try to just see where they want their draft to go. Again, it is going to be fairly demoralizing after that first game loss with the not necessarily the lead they had, but with the fact that Raven was so far ahead of anyone else in terms of farm. Of course, the team net worth was never really above the side of Team Dog, so you can't really argue they were very ahead per se, but it did look like they were set to take the game fairly easily. Even DJ on the bench finding a telescope to add to that attack range of the Drow even more so. But you know, in all fairness, Raven didn't have a Grove Bow, so we didn't have the complete balance kind of experience here from Ice Frog. We didn't have it all the way. Still, Fnatic, they do go for a Phoenix. Team Dog naturally will just pick up the Snapfire. The nice direct counter towards that Phoenix. Fnatic, it looks like they might just get back to thinking about the second pickup now. But one hero you brought up earlier on was the Mars. Now, you did bring it up in conjunction with the Clockwork, and they aren't going to pick it up for now. They do go into the Spectre, but that option is, at least for now, still available to them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if it does get banned out here, though, as we tend to see the Mars taken out. Fnatic opting for a very early Spectre pickup is rather interesting. Spectre Phoenix is potent in the sense that, you know, anything that heals up a Spectre ensures that it has more presence to play with that dispersion. So you've got a lot of healing that can come through on the support Phoenix there. You've got team fight with the Phoenix here as well. As mentioned, Mars is still a viable option to pick up for your offlane here if you want to do that for Masaros. Pretty solid overall. I think Fnatic right now, they do have to worry a bit about that Snapfire. Again, shreds right through the Phoenix, as you mentioned. The egg's not going to last too long. Those early levels. And Team Dog can also opt for their own team fight ults. So you can see Fnatic, they're forced to ban out the Faces Void because Snapfire Void is pretty darn scary. And even just Snapfire Clock is scary, right? You hookshot in, you get the cogs off, you get the kisses out anyway, and you can find those kills. Now, a Spectre is hard to kill off because she has a Spectral Dagger.
Naturally.
That still kind of complicates the process, and it's still looking like a fairly even back and forth opening here. I am just a bit worried about the Spectre being early, but it has been a fairly popular hero. I'm just not completely sold. I mean, we saw the performance in Dota Summit 13 in Southeast Asia, right? Like in Southeast Asia, the playstyle is just really awkward. Like it can work, but it feels very 50-50.
Well, the problem I'm seeing as well here, John, for that Spectre is, again, I was working with some EU tournament for about a month, and the one thing that I saw quite a lot is the Spectre kind of went out of favor with most teams. Every time it was picked up, you'd see a PA pop up, you'd see a Sven pop up to be up against a Spectre. So although the hero doesn't necessarily have direct counters per se, you do still have heroes like the Sven, like the PA. Mind you, the Sven was just banned out, but you get my point. And of course, how could we forget the Viper? The Viper being a very popular hero right now. Is still available. Fnatic, they'll have to make the decision as to whether they want to get rid of the PA, whether they want to get rid of the Viper instead to not have that inbuilt break up against them. They may have kind of put themselves in a bit of a corner here with this this early Spectre pickup. Again, I mean, Team Dog, you ban the Viper, you go PA, you ban the PA, you just go the Viper. Or if you ban neither, you just take both. Could be a very hard draft here for Fnatic. Those heroes are going to be available here for Team Dog.
Yeah, it's going to make it really difficult. I think they're kind of corny. You can see them digging through. They ban out the Lifestealer instead. So those options you talked about stay in. Yeah, it's one that can rip through. But I think there's still so many for Team Dog. Even something like the Slark, right? Slark into Spectre is something we see a couple of times. Can naturally build into his own break with a Silver Edge as well if he wanted to. So I think there are enough ways for Team Dog to draft around the Spec. We're going to have to see what they do pick up here for Fnatic. Like, the Masteros here is going to be important. They could run Core Phoenix, just not the most common. I think we need to see Masteros play with something that could probably set that Phoenix up. Again, Morris has stayed completely in the pool.
You know he's going to take the Tide, John. He's going to take... If the Tide's there, he's going to take the Tide. It's like, if Tide is not banned, I just can't imagine he doesn't take it.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's something he loves. We've seen Phoenix Tide a couple of times, right? Like, I think it was actually MG Trust that ran that a couple of times as well. So
yeah, they
could opt for it. They're thinking really hard though. Like, this is a lot of reserve time Fnatic's burning through, and that might cost them down the line. They're gonna have to rush through their last pick for sure, and they do have last pick overall. So you don't really want to waste too much time here in your first pick in the second phase.
Oh, okay. They go the Chen pickup here for Fnatic. Very interesting. Obviously, a very snowball-y kind of support to have on your side of things. Could also be a potential off-lane Chen. I doubt it, though. And that was the hero I was about to point out, John, the Timber. Up against the Chen and the Spectre and even the Phoenix. You do not want to be up against this Timbersaw, and it is going to be a very, very fun game for Ice Ice Ice. Obviously, one of Ice Ice Ice's signature heroes coming out here. Should be a real treat to watch.
Absolutely. You do. I don't know. Like, you give Ice 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 something like Timbersaw, he is just going to have... It's not just he's going to have fun, but Fnatic's not going to have a single ounce of fun, right? Like, we know how he plays in the Timbersaw. He loves to just run around, cause havoc. You get the DP out here for Fnatic, so you do have this push that can come through with your Chen army, and with the Exorcism, you are sort of constraining yourself to cooldowns, as we love to talk about when the DP pops in. So you've got Haunt and the Spectre and Exorcism that you've got to watch out for, and the early levels of Supernova as well. So there's a lot that Fnatic kind of has to plan their early game around if they want to clump up as 5. Team Dog not as constrained by those, and they do just immediately go into the Quap. So again, a mid lane matchup that isn't too bad for the Queen of Pain. Like, the DP can hold her own with the Spirit Siphon, but Quap can just opt for an early level of Blink and just kind of go out, or opt to try and trade some hits, clear out the wave with her own spells.
I do give one thing to Fnatic though. Their push potential is quite nice, right? Like with that DP with the Chen, it is going to mean they can go fight early. Obviously, as a Spectre these days, you're looking to rush a Blade Mail, and you don't necessarily want to fight, but you can always throw that Haunt out and kind of be a part of the team fight if your team feels the necessity for that. So I do like the fact that Fnatic are trying to put a quick pace on the side of Team Dog. Only problem being, though, you are fighting into Snapfire, Timbersaw, and Quap, all of which can kind of just wave clear over and over and over again. And it can be quite hard to fight into the mid-game, especially considering you are kind of relying on having that Chen army, as well as just the whole team forcing down towers. So Team Dog do already kind of have the answers here to this draft that Fnatic has brought out. And it is going to come down to these last pickups now. Of course, Team Dog, they're looking for an In Your Dream hero, just a position 1 to deal with the Spectre. And Fnatic, it does appear they are still lacking a Masaros hero. And I just can't say I'd be surprised if I saw Tidehunter pop out. I really can't imagine anything else. Good ban-outs from Team Dog, though. They get rid of the Mars and they get rid of the Beastmaster, and naturally both of them would have fit quite well, especially that Beastmaster, adding to the push, but I feel like we know what's coming.
Yep.
For Fnatic.
Should be that Tide. They do have last pick overall, so maybe they surprise us. Team Dog, though, we're looking for the In Your Dream here. I think Slark is pretty darn nice here. You've got this natural self-purge. You've got, again, a natural build-up into Silver Edge if you wanted to, if you're really worried about the spec.
Right.
Could be an option, maybe to go for a natural spell immunity hero like a Jug of their own, just to ignore the Phoenix and the DP. A lot of options they can really draft around here for IYD.
Yeah. I actually don't mind the idea of the Jug here. I think it would be quite nice. Though, hear me out. What about something like a position 1 Riki here? It doesn't seem that bad. You have plenty of ways to juke out the Spirit Siphons, the Silences. Spectre doesn't really mind going into the Riki too much, but it's not like you're going to be able to just stand there and hit away on this Riki Maru if Team Dog were able to pick it up. But no, they do go into the Jug. Well played to you, sir. Very, very nice prediction there. But now the prediction that matters. Fnatic, do they go for the Tide, or my other option is a Doom?
Between those two, I think the Tide is going to be a safer bet for Fnatic. The Doom would work out nice. I think if you were looking for push potential, the Doom can really help you just go and secure it, stand in front, tank some hits, get some spell control. But they go with a Void Spirit instead, so they do surprise us here, Fnatic. They go with something a bit different. Masaros Void Spirit. Now, we have seen this a couple of times, and he can actually play that really well.
Okay.
It does leave them a bit short. You don't have any natural Phoenix combos here, Mike. No Mars, no Tide, no control. And that's one thing where Fnatic's line kind of falls flat. Their control is not the best. We're looking for Masaros to get his own ults again, as we did see from Paulson in the last game. Ult's timing for a Void Spirit can be key to set up those kills. And Raven has just got to farm like a madman. In the first game, he was doing well on a Drow. I think if you give that same kind of farm to a Spectre, it should be a little bit more influential towards the late game. So they've got a bit more of a safety net there, Fnatic, if they do want to play a farming game.
See how it all pans out, John. Game number 2, of course, Fnatic looking to tie out this series. Team Dog, they'd love to go for a 2-0 if they could, of course. You do only have 3 more days for this group stage, so the more points you can get, the better. Pretty much any team out there. Fnatic, they are actually sitting in 4th place right now, and so is Team Dog. These two teams were tied up before today, and if they do get a draw, then they are still going to be tied at 4th. So if you are able to get a 2-0 victory here for Team Dog, you are looking at overtaking Fnatic for that 4th place spot, and I believe even the 3rd place spot up against T1 would be taken for Team Dog for now, had they gotten a 2-0 victory. But we have to wait it out and see how it pans out.
Yeah, it's really important. Again, shorter groups. It's so weird to think about that, right? Like, I look back at BTS Pro Series Season 1, 2, 3, and then Dota Summit 13. Those groups just felt like at least 3 weeks, and here we are, a bit shorter. Of course, we are packing it in for the Christmas season. We do end on the 20th, and I think you'd be hard-pressed to find teams to want to play over Christmas, Mike, especially since we have, what, like 4 Filipino teams? Yeah, they are not taking time off their Christmas break to play some Dota. No, they've got to go down, eat some food. Speaking of food, it is merienda time, which is rather unfortunate as it's in the middle here, but...
Just pause the game, boys. We understand. We'll go grab some merienda too. It's fine. Everyone can just chill out and have a bit of food. Speaking of which, John, what do you eat during Christmas in the Philippines? Like, is there a signature dish for Christmas? Like, like with the I don't know, every region has their own kind of signature dish that you eat.
Yep. I think for us it's embutido, so it's like a homemade meatloaf, sort of. It's like ground, I don't know, ground beef or ground pork mixed in. You've got some ham sprinkled in, some cheese, some raisins, and some relish. It's really good. Yeah, raisins. A little touch of raisins. We're weird. I don't know. Blame the Spanish. I always blame the Spanish. It works well.
I don't think it's weird. I mean, that's a big thing in Australia as well, actually, John. They tend to like putting raisins in things. I'm personally not the biggest fan of raisins, as Ice is getting a lot of tips there. So I do believe he did manage to take the boundary away, and that does mean a 3-for-1 trade for Team Dog. So, that line. I haven't played Chen in a long time, John. I haven't heard that one before, but that's kind of cute.
Yeah, they saw Ice. He leveled Timber Chain just to get that done, so they know they've got a bit of an opportunity to bully him out, but tips out anyway. Paulson does come into relief, so you've got this beautiful dual lane, Mike, of both the mechanical heroes. Like Clockwork plus Tim, always nice to see. They are laning up against DJ and Raven. Raven's getting some good space to get his last hits, but Ice just needs to kind of sit out, wait for his level 3 spike, and then he should be able to hold a little bit better, but has to be cautious while he has this level 1 chain.
Absolutely. You don't mind it too much. It does allow you to secure CS quite nicely. He is being rather cautious, just making sure he doesn't take too much harassment from DJ.
False idolatry.
We don't see anything like a pull being made here by Polison yet either. Looks like they are pretty satisfied with where the lane equilibrium is, and well, you can't really blame him, John. It's right in front of the tier 1 tower of the Radiant. Ice is going to hit level 2. Polison staying outside of XP range to make sure he hits that quick. But while we're at it, we need to look at the pot lane, because Masaros was getting very, very low. He had been caught out by In Your Dream and was being spun upon. Does go for the TP back towards his tier 1 tower.
Dan, this is something where Fnatic needs to be a bit cautious. Like the Void Spirit in this case doesn't necessarily has the best of times against a Jug. Blade Fear is just such a potent spell. You can try to bully Afu out, but again, it's also not the best spot for Masaros. That's down to Jabs. And Jabs has just such long cooldowns in the dive and Fire Spirits. You've got to wait for level 2 Spirits to really win out the trades. And even then, the uptime of that isn't as good as the spammable spells that Afu has.
Well, Jabs is going to be in trouble. A great cookie out from Afu, and Jabs, he does not have the Icarus dive available. The spirits will not be enough either, so In Your Dream, able to take first blood and a courier off Masaros. This is an excellent start for this bot lane for Team Dog.
Yeah, it's just so much easier for them to play with the spell. It's like the cookie out and the spin. In Your Dream just gets so much more damage, and that's just level 1 Blade Fury. This is a level 2 Jug, pocketed skill, just level 1 spin. It's still going to do a lot of work, and Fnatic has to be a little bit more cautious. Wait for those level 3 spikes on Jabs first, and then you can look to play. They have shifted around a bit. You know, we can look at that mid lane now as well, which we haven't talked about yet. Abed up against Moon, Quap against DP, and you can see Abed just looking to play aggressive. Moon is not healthy.
Moon, he is not going to die. The Scream is only level 1, but he is going to drop extremely low, and he's going to be forced to survive by just eating a tango and sticking by that tier 1 tower for the added regen. He does have the bottle up, so he is going to be able to reset just a little bit, but you might expect a TP in from one of his teammates to give him another full bottle here as Abed. Looks like he will just continue dominating the lane with these Shadow Strikes. Meanwhile, Afu getting caught out by Jabs now, does get the Scatter Blast out, but Jabs is able to take the kill quite easily on the Phoenix, and he does get a bit of revenge for himself on this Phoenix.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice there from Afu. He just decided to trade hits while under the Fire Spirits. I think he just really wanted to push himself to get jabs away from the Power Rune. Unfortunately, he will find the retail.
Moon looks to be dead here. Afu just comes in for the kill secure, quote unquote. I don't think it was necessary from Afu, but you know, why not? If you can take it, just take it. Like Jabs is probably able to secure the Power Rune down at the bot lane, but oh, nice cookie in again from Afu. Jabs this time does have the Icarus dive. Paulson did not have the battery assault to try and cancel off that Icarus dive midway, but they are still applying a lot of pressure, Team Dog. It is making this mid lane extremely difficult for Fnatic. In fact, now Paulson, he waits around, a great cogs out on Jabs. He's dead. I can't imagine him surviving here. He actually eats a Fairy Fire and will survive just a little bit longer as Paulson keeps going, but no! Moon able to kill him off, but now Afu comes in for the Scatter Blast. Moon is going to keep the chase up with the Spirit Siphon. Afu is very, very slow right now, just trying to make a run away, but Moon, he has the Crypt Swarm. He will get a double kill for himself on the Death Prophet, and he even gets Bounty Runes down at the bot lane.
Yeah, it's a wonderful time for Fnatic. It does cost them some back and forth, but this is freeing up the side lane, so they can kind of trade with their cores as well, and they are finding these kills. You really even start here 3-3, less than 1k lead. You are giving some space to Raven, but Ice can kind of deal with a Spectre solo. It's just that Raven's still finding his farm. Down bot, while Afu is way, In Your Dream is also sort of bullying out Masaros, but this has allowed Masaros his own level spikes. So that's really the only thing that you want in the Void Spirit, and Masaros at 5, about to hit 6. Still going to be perfectly fine here. They do drag 3 heroes bot, though. Yeah,
he's not level 6 yet, John. It's going to be a dangerous time for Masaros as he tries to dissimulate away, and Paulson was a bit too early on the cogs. In Your Dream, still going for the chase. He does have boots where Masaros does not, and now goes for the spin as well. Masaros, he's in big, big trouble. Trying to juke him out, but he can knock it away. That's a great presence of mind there from In Your Dream, realizing he did not have boots in that Void Spirit. Will be able to pick himself up another kill on this jug.
Yeah, it's a good time for him in the jug. He hits level 6 as well, and he gets to pocket his Omni Slash. So they're in a prime spot to get some aggression out. They've got 2 range creeps here. Healing Ward drop down with a Siege creep. They could look to do some damage on that tier 1 bot.
Exorcism being popped here by Moon up at the top lane. They're going to try to Ice, but he has the chains up. They're still going to keep going with these stuns, and they actually have a lot of damage now, but Ice, chains not going to be there in time. Moon, able to get the kill. Looks like he's straight back into the mid lane. However, Masaros down at the bot lane, going to find himself in trouble once again. He's going to try and fight back up against the supports of Team Dog. I don't believe he has enough damage, but they'll go after Afu. Still In Your Dream, waiting around. He does have Omni, but he is lacking the mana. Maybe with those stick charges. No, it's still not going to be enough. Still sticking around. Gets the T1 tower. In fact, it was denied off by Masaros. In Your Dream, still chasing him down. Masaros now being spun upon. Sunray will be there, but In Your Dream not getting the damage off in time. He walked backwards for a moment. And now it's a bit of an awkward moment here for In Your Dream. He will run away, but I believe he could have gotten that kill had he just kept the spin onto the Void Spirit.
Yeah, he missed like a couple of ticks. That would have been enough to drag him down. They get the deny off as well, so Fnatic's in a pretty decent spot. Like, their Exorcism didn't secure them in Tier 1, but the Tier 1 they lost doesn't really give a gold advantage out, so they get to hold on to mid and maybe force a fight here.
That they do. Abed gonna blink away. Looking for that 8-minute power rune now. Moon is gonna head towards the western power rune, but it is not going to be there. It is going to be down at the bot lane. Still Jabs. It's going to be a little just cut off Abed. He does have the Icarus type available if he does need it, but Jabs didn't throw it out in time. Meanwhile, Raven does kill off Afu on the Snapfire. So, couple kills going on across the map. Jabs, he held out a bit long on that Icarus type, perhaps wanting to try and bait out the Sonic Wave. He did get it out, but Abed, he'll be happy with the kill.
Yep, you do find a fairly interesting back and forth trade. I think the kill going to Raven is a little bit more important, though. So the Spectre finding a free kill like that while farming the jungle is going to be a bit painful because he didn't manage to get some vision down that jungle as well. So a bit of a costly mistake by Afu. He was going on a ward run solo, and Raven's going to be happy with a freebie. Doesn't quite compensate for trading away, for finding that kill on the Phoenix. They do manage to get some space down mid once more, but again, very stubborn Fnatic, although DJ might be a bit deep in the details.
Oh, he's in trouble. Paulison, did you see that, John? Just cutting through the tree line very nicely, making his own pathway through the trees, and DJ was definitely not expecting that one out from Paulison. That'll give Abed his second kill of the game now in this Queen of Pain. And while you've pointed out that Raven is farming very nicely, if his team continues to lose towers like this again, it could be quite detrimental. Still, bot lane, I believe they are going to try into Ice, and they will. The Haunt in with the Astral Step out, Ice. He will drop an Arfu, is also going to be another victim. Moon will get a double kill, and we'll start pushing down that bot tier 1 tower. In fact, they do back off.
It cost them 2 bodies to stop that push, but those are 2 good kills going away Fnatic. So static on objectives, they are finding kills. Not very worthwhile considering that they are behind all though.
He doesn't have Astral Steps available, but he will be, or maybe not. The urn is out. I believe he's going to tick out here.
Oh boy, yeah.
No, the bottle comes out from Moon.
Boy.
Just in time. He was on less than 20 HP, and there was 1 tick of the urn left. But Moon does come in with the clutch bottle charge, and it will be enough.
Yeah, it's going to be counting his stars there, Masaros. Still, they are going to get jumped again mid.
Abed, silenced up, does have help there from Arfu with the cookie and Scatterblast in Moon. He may have gone too far. Sonic Wave was unnecessary, but it does get thrown out nonetheless. Does end up being a 1-for-1 trade. It's going to be much more worthwhile, though, for the side of Team Dog.
Yeah, it's a great pickup because they do manage to kill off. They kill off Moon again, so they free themselves of that DP. Abed can be enjoying just having that slight advantage over the Death Prophet.
Paulison.
And a hook.
Oh, great hook shot out. Paulison setting up another kill out for Abed, and he just waited for that perfect moment. And of course, Abed, with that maxed out Scream, did have more than enough damage to kill off this Void Spirit.
Yeah, it's a big spike having Paulson hit that 6, and he's just been so active on the map already. Having the hook allows him to target a lot better, and you're going to have to watch your spacing there, and they do manage to finally commit for that mid-tier 1. So Fnatic, even though they've got this push trap with the DP, with the Chen, they still have yet to find a tier 1, and losing your mid and your top and your bot tier 1, all of your tier 1's gone from Fnatic, that's going to hurt them in their farm. Like, they still have control of their triangle, but there are some wards out, and Team Dog now, with all these objectives down, can start to hunt even deeper and start to punish that Spectre that's just free farming.
That they certainly can. Even with the Blade Mail, In Your Dream is still ahead in terms of farm, and in all fairness, In Your Dream doesn't even have the Battle Fury up yet. It's going to be maybe a minute away from that. Very, very nice timing from our Jug. While that's happening, a smoke up now from Team Dog. They're going to go into that dire jungle and try to spot out a core hero here, and they have found out a big one, but the hook shot going to be completely off. Moon just stood still and just accepted his fate, but it did not land. Still, they have the cookie out. They will be able to take the kill thanks to Arfu with those Mortimer's Kisses. It's straight up to the top lane. Abed, he has Sonic Wave up in 5 seconds. They'd love to pick off Raven, but they do just jump in and clear out the creep wave. Raven should be just fine to stick around and defend that tier 2 tower. Maybe not. Abed, he's going to jump in again. Do they have a cookie in time? They do. Arfu, he lands it, and the Scream is going to come out. Abed picking up another. I did not think that was going to be in time, but it was.
That's rather unfortunate. Like, they're trying to make a move on Ice, seeing those heroes. This is Timber Saga.
It is, but they do have Moon around. With the Exorcism being popped again, Ice. They get hit by that Aether Remnant, and with the Sun Ray, he is going to melt. And mind you, John, with this this heavy push lineup, Fnatic are still yet to take a tier 1 tower at 13.5 minutes in. So they are still going after that bottom tier 1 tower. And it's a nice kill onto Ice, and they do finally get the tier 1, but it's been a long time coming.
It's taken them way too long. That's like Moon's third exorcism, and the first one that finally leads to the tower. The trade of Timbersaw for Spectre is not the best. You really don't want to drop Raven there. Perfectly happy for Team Dog to go for that kind of trade. They've gotten space out for Dog to keep farming, and they might be able to force something out here.
Oh, but he'd be a big pick off. They commit the X straight off the bat. But he does not have the blink up. Oh, it's a great kill there from Fnatic, and now they move in for more. They saw Paulson around, but Paulson, he will get the cogs off and he will back off. Abed, he doesn't sound too annoyed about that death on the quad, but it was definitely a very valuable kill to find for this dire side.
It's going to open up that mid-tier 1 for them to start pushing on Fanatics. And Ice is going to TP in, but does melt very
quick. Careful. That Sunray does a lot of damage out, and he's still moving forward. Needs to chain away Paulson. Gonna hook shot in. A great cogs out, but Massaros still on the chase. Ice. He's able to just chain away. DJ being chased down. Abed, a quick sonic wave out of the quap, going after Jabs, and Jabs, he'll pretty much be the only one to die right now. DJ gonna go for the quick TP away, and he's gonna be just fine. There's Abed gonna try and go for a bit more, but Moon does manage to move away quick enough on the Death Prophet. And so it's only going to end up being a Phoenix kill here for Team Dog. And I suppose the other positive is that they do defend that tier 1 mid tower.
Yeah, I mean, holding on to that does still give a big piece of map control advantage towards Team Dog. They're not quite done. Looks like they might be hunting Moon, but they're not completely aware of where he is. Looks like Moon should be able to TP home safely. Still, they have been making forays deep into the jungle. The battlefield for Inner Dream is big, although he is alone.
Oh, in your dream, he gets silenced up. I don't believe they'll have enough damage to take him out just with that one silence, and they won't. With that Battle Fury you pointed out, John, he's going to start really escalating in terms of farm now. And these Jugs, in this current patch, they do need quite a lot of farm to be as effective as they used to be. But once they get to that stage where they have that farm up, it can be a very nervous time for Fnatic.
Definitely. Like the Ags, once it's up, you're not constrained by your ult anymore.
Hook shot.
Play with while that's on ult.
They got Moon in that hook shot. Cogs are there. Paulson will chase him down with the battery assault, and Abed does jump in as well. Moon very low, but he does survive. The sun rays out Jabs. He keeps him up. Abed looking to maybe jump back in. He does, but the Scream is not going to connect to Moon. Still ticking out to the Shadow Strike, but the egg is there. The Aether Remnant not going to make it in time. They cannot punish the Queen of Pain. Moon, I'm not sure if he had the Yules up to cancel the TP, but he did not want to risk his life for that. He will make it away scot-free.
Oh,
meanwhile,
that was such a nervous play.
He's going to be alright, John. You were saying.
Such a nervous play on the end there. They did manage to win out the trade because they pop out the egg. That is a fairly long cooldown, a minute 10, but that's not up. So they could choose to do something here. They've got Omni Slash ready. They've got the Sonic Wave ready as well. They can start forcing out objectives. Ice has gotten enough space to clear out that top tier 2 as the Timbersaw. So again, more objectives going away of Team Dog. And Paulson.
He's going to be in a bit of danger here. Paulson getting caught out by the Aether Remnant. Abed is going to be around, and he is going to force them back a little bit, and so is Ice. They'll start chipping away at Massaros. A lot of creeps around Abed, but he had plenty of help around. And DJ is going to lose all his army. Trying to run away. A great hook shot out though. Paulson landing on 2 with the cogs, just blocking the staircase, but Raven does come in after Arfu. Meanwhile, Abed, a massive sonic wave into the Omni Slash of In Your Dream. They do find 3 of them. Onto DJ now. He's just trying to run away, but he will also be a victim of In Your Dream's Jug. And that's just great play out once again from Team Dog. Fnatic, I mean, they found the supports, John, but that is just not enough to feel worthwhile.
No, definitely not. And this is where the Jug really starts to shine here. It's got an earlier spike compared to our Spectre. Omni Slash is much higher impact in terms of actually killing off multiple heroes. They get the bounces off. The Battle Fury is doing all the work. They've got the Yasha in. The Manta Style is almost done, so the silence coming through from Abed's not going to be too much of a concern now. From Moon, it's not going to be too much of a concern now. Once you have this form of self-dispel, And the control for Fnatic, which we pointed out as a potential issue, is starting to really pop out here. They've got to be a bit cautious, although In Your Dream's a bit deep, but...
Jabs. It's a lot of damage out very quickly. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, who have they caught there? It's going to be Ice once again. He does end up going down on that Timber, and they do ping out the mid lane, but the tier 1 tower's already gone. And I'll tell you what, though, John, that's one thing that Ice has been really good at over his career is forcing out space and spells from the opposite team. They are going to still find out the jug In Your Dream, going to try and spin away, but Moon is going to be alright, and now Paulson hook shots in to make sure this Death Prophet cannot go any more forward. Kisses are going to be cancelled off by Masaros, and they do get Paulson. In Your Dream, however, does manage to get out of there.
It's better that you lose Paulson that way than In Your Dream for sure. They are down Kisses though, so it's going to be a while until Team Dog will look to maybe force something out. It's going to be a minute and a half for them. That could be a window for Fnatic to start playing some games here. They will have Haunt a bit earlier if they want to. A bit reckless. In Your Dream was just constantly forcing out the outpost. He loses it anyway, right before the 20-minute mark, so they're not going to get anything from that exchange. Just a bit too eager there. But if it did pay off, then they would have increased that snowball for sure.
But they would have. In Your Dream goes for the Roshan play now. Abed going to be there to help him out. It's not going to be the fastest Roshan in the world, but they can eventually get it done. Especially if it is not spotted out by Fnatic, and it doesn't look like they do realize. They are just hanging out in the dire triangle right now. So this is looking to be a very free Roshan for Team Dog. Which is definitely bad news for Fnatic as... Well, now they scan it out, but it's way too late. Roshan going to go down, and Aegis will be picked up by In Your Dream. Fnatic, it seemed like they were kind of thinking maybe a smoke was coming their way, but that was not the case.
Yeah, a bit of a missed opportunity. Again, they have had their spells up for a little bit longer. They just didn't have vision around the pit. They don't have the best of control there. No wards in that area, so it's something Team Dog can really just manipulate. There is a 3k lead now in Team Dog as well, and you're just seeing the farm effect of a Jug up against a Spectre. Like, the Spectre Blade Mail, it's nice. It just doesn't really compare to a Battle Theory carrier, so it's still always going to be slower. They are looking to hunt though. They are grouped up on that bot jungle, and they might be able to get a move on this tier 2. They are risking a lot of space up top. Like, that tier 3 is just being chipped away by the creep wave, and one of these heroes could easily just choose to shove in that tower and get a little bit more damage in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like Fnatic, they're just going to focus in on that bot tier 2 now, and for now they're uncontested, but Ice look to chain in Masaros. He had a quick Yules out, the 8th Remnant, and now the Sunray. Ice is going to go down. Nice pickup for Fnatic once again. And that'll be Fnatic getting that tier 2 for free. Meanwhile, In Your Dream will go up towards the top lane and start forcing out that tier 3 tower, and that will at least get a glyph out, but he's not really planning to back off too quick. Does go back for the wave, still Fnatic, the exact same thing, but now the hookshot does come out from Paulson, and Abed is going to be there. Kisses are going to be expended, but the Yules are going to be out from our Death Prophet and the Sunray, but the Omni does come in, and it's a lot of damage, but it's gone through the army. Abed, Sonic Wave out, does kill off Moon. Now the Haunt is in from Raven, but he's just trying to get himself away from that. Meanwhile, Masaros going after In Your Dream. Can't finish him off. He will be able to get out. Jabs going for the egg, but In Your Dream going to run back in with the little shredder out from Arfu. They do kill off the egg. Back onto Raven. Spirit Vessel there from Arbit. Masaros holding them all back with a huge astral step. And Raven, he is eventually going to be able to TP away in the tree line. Definitely not a very good team fight though for Fnatic, as they do lose 2 for nothing. That'll mean that Team Dog can't get these lanes pushed out.
Yeah, and they get to just stick back together. They still hold the Aegis. They did pop Omni Slash, so that's going to be down for a bit longer. Sonic Wave as well. Not the shortest cooldowns, although
they had a hook shot up, but they saw Moon TPing in, and DJ was just behind. They go after Arfu, but now the hook shot perfect from Paulson. In fact, did I say Paulson? I did mean Paulson. He not allowing any further spells to be used up. Hookshot was very nicely timed here from our Clockwork.
I love that he's rushing this Ags as well in his clock. So you're going to have that refresh for the overclock. You're going to be able to just run in, get more hooks off, get more control off. It's been a wonderful game for Paulson, just setting up for his team. Fnatic in comparison, like you're looking at the progress of Jabs, it's not as fast. He's rushing a BKB just to ensure that he's not going to be melted before he can use his spells. It's just such a slow build-up in comparison. This is him with the Philosopher's Stone as well. So they're going to need to find that farm elsewhere, but it's just so hard when you're investing so deeply into this Spectre. It just tends to become that farm vacuum. Look at the gap between Raven and his own cores. Not even his gap with Abed or with In Your Dream, but the gap between Moon and Raven is already really big. And you look at Masters as well, way below that. It's just becoming all about one hero here for Fnatic, so they need to hold on until that hero is big enough to carry him.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely getting scary now as well, because In Your Dream does have a full MKB up out of nowhere. Just buys it outright. And with that MKB, of course, his damage just skyrockets now. Yeah, added attack speed going to be very nice for that Omni Slash as well. Fnatic, they need to start trying to find an answer for this side of Team Dog. Of course, you can always look to just drag out the game because you do have a Spectre, but I don't think it's going to be that easy for them. Still In Your Dream, getting caught by an Aether Remnant, and a massive Sonic Wave out, but the Aegis is going to expire. DJ getting very low, is going to go down straight away. Meanwhile, In Your Dream dropping low again, gets silenced up. He can't get the Omni off in time. Now they jump in, Massaros gets another. It's going to be Paulson down, Arfu left over, but he is also going to die. It's all based off an Aether Remnant that was left there by Massaros. They allow In Your Dream to walk into it, and oh, it's going to be a great team fight there for Fnatic.
Oh, it definitely is. They can't really transition that to too much. They might look to shove mid. Team Dog did make a big mistake. Like, we didn't see Paulson manage to use that hook shot. He was just blocked off the entire time at that choke point. They need the Clockwork to kind of find their openings. I mean, they could try to jump in with Abed first, but Abed did not go for anything like an Orchid, so their control is actually the clock coming in. And if Paulson can't find that angle, the fight is just really hard to get their way. So Fnatic can be really happy with the result of the smoke on smoke. Does give them a little bit more breathing room. The lead is still on Team Dog's side, but it's not as big as it once was.
The main issue I'm seeing, though, is they're not really able to find any objectives off that team fight. In fact, Moon now is going to get caught out up at that top lane. He'll clear out the creep wave. BKB up in a couple seconds. He could try, but it looks like it's way too late. He's just going to accept the fact that he is dead. Raven, however, does kill off Ice 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 again. So they do get a nice trade for themselves. I'd say Moon's life is a bit more valuable, though, on that mid-death profit. So Ice, he's died many times this game, and it's kind of become his role, right? Just take the attention away from the rest of his team, and if he dies, he dies.
Yeah, he's not too scared about being up front, although Paulson again onto Jabs.
Nice hook shot. The Aghanim Scepter there with another Cox pushback, but Jabs is still not dead, but it looks like he doesn't really have a way out of that one. That's something you were pointing out a bit earlier on, but you do have a lot more control now with this Aghanim Scepter Clockwork up.
Yeah, you've got so much more opportunities here for Paulson to go for their solo pickoffs. Again, very important because this Clockwork is pretty much their sole initiator. Abed just can't get that same control out until he hits his 25 talent with a Fear. So it's going to be a while until the Quap can kind of help Paulson in this department. That does give a bit of the lead back the way of Dog. They're back to 4K up, 20-19 here. Fnatic still finding some really good farm on Raven. Number 2 net worth, just about 2K behind In Your Dream, so it's not too bad. You do need a lot more to come out in Raven. Like, he's got the Scotty up, he's had his Manta Style up for a while, clears out a nice set of stacks, and is saving up for his Basher into what looks to be a Moon Shard. So let's see if he sticks to that path or opts for a finished up. Abyssal, they do smoke up behind him. They have Haunt ready. They could look for a kill.
Yeah, they're looking for a bait play here with Raven. So they give up on that. Massaros, he pops a DD rune now, and they're going to head down towards that bot lane, where they seem to know that Ice 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 is hanging around somewhere. Looks like he's going to be alright, though, for now. He's just walking through the tree line. Fnatic don't seem to be aware of where he is. In fact, they will reveal they are smoked up as well, so Ice definitely not going to show himself now. Just going to stick around in that tree line and make sure he is not caught out. You know, John, the one point where I get really concerned for Raven in this game is when In Your Dream does have the Ags plus the Silver Edge up, which he is working towards right now. That's going to be a very concerning point for the Spectre as Ice does now get caught out. He eventually did show himself. He's trying to chain away, but Moon is on the chase and does get the silence off as well as Masteros. Going to be there, but Ice, again, just buying himself time, chaining the other way. Has another one. Gets away again. The silence not going to be enough. Where do you chain to this time? He gets Yule's up, but do they have the stun control? They will with one Centaur, and they will take him out. Another nice kill there for the side of Fnatic. It does cost them all 5 heroes to get that done, but they do eventually get it done.
Yep, it's still a pickup. I'm not sure how worthwhile it is anymore to punish Ice like this. Like, you lose a lot of map control. You saw how far that top lane was being shoved out by Paulson. They're getting some free farm here on In Your Dream. Really approaching that Ags time you mentioned, like just about 600 gold off, so they've got to be cautious. They do smoke up though, but Team Dog, they're very cautious and pull out of that triangle.
That they do. You definitely want to try and avoid fighting if you're Team Dog up until the Ags is available on In Your Dream. Just such a big power spike for the Jug. I mean, after that, the Silver Edge, of course, going to be an even bigger power spike, especially up against Raven Spectre. Raven looks like he's just trying to work into a Basher and a Moonshard of all things, but there is one objective they can go for, and that is going to be the Rose Shard. So the question is, are Team Dog going to allow them to take this for free? Do they even know it's happening? Well, now they do. The Rocket Flare does come in, but Masteros doing what he does best. Holding everyone else back, just making space, but the rest of his team are going to come in now. They go into Paulson, a massive Sonic Wave out again, but Raven does commit the Horde. He kills off one into Arfu, but he's going to be able to walk away. Paulson, he did buy back on that Clockwork. Fnatic, I don't believe they'll be able to go back into that Roshan pit for now. They'll have to leave it be. They do still hold the Exorcism on Moon. Now going to go for a bit of a smoke play. Fu going to break it up. Aether Remnant going to lock him down. He has the kisses, but he's going to die before he can commit them. He will also have buyback on that Snapfire. But In Your Dream, that's a very big target if they could kill him off. Abed is going to be there to zone them out. Everyone's going to be fine for now. Fnatic, do they go for this Roshan play? Looks like the answer's going to be yes. They're going to give it a shot. Hook shot is going to be there. Who have they caught out? It's going to be Masteros on that Void Spirit, but the Hand of God is going to be there to heal him up. In Your Dream, Omni not going to be there in time. Masteros gets away. DJ copying a lot of damage, but it is still not enough. He has the Swift Slash, but they have to kill off this egg first. And they do get it, but now In Your Dream, he's way too low. Masteros does kill him off on the Void Spirit, and now they need to really run away as Abed is very low on that quab. The Snapfire Arfu does go down as well. And that is a very, very poor team fight here for Team Dog. As Fnatic now can go back in for this Roshan play. Ice gets some vision up with that Chakram, but he's been Yuled up, and he has also been silenced up, and he is going to die. More deaths going the way of Team Dog. Abed even going to jump in now, but the silence again from Masteros, holding him down for a second, forcing the blink away. Roshan so darn low. Masteros still chasing him down. They do kill him off with jabs there on the Phoenix. Meanwhile, towards the south, they found Paulson on the Clockwork. He'll go for a TP play. They have no way to cancel. He will be alright, but this Roshan is certainly going the way of Fnatic.
Yeah, it's such a drawn-out fight. Fnatic does win out in the end. Did try to see a sneaky play there by Afu, trying to get his courier to snipe something. Doesn't pick up anything in the end. But Fnatic now swing this game on its heel. 4K up, 21-26. Take a look at Dota Plus. You can see that dive there, Mike. That's when things went wrong there for Team Dog. Just they went in one by one. The hook shots weren't amazing. The Omni into Yule's here was just really where it fell apart. In Your Dream needs to get a good use of his Omni, of his Swift Slash. If he doesn't, then Fnatic really just has a lot of presence. They've got all this heals coming into play to hold up a Spectre. He does have the Basher, and the Basher is also doing a lot of work here. They're just getting the control and the damage through. And Team Dog, they're not out of it yet. I think they've got to wait for a couple of spikes now. They need level 25 on Abed. They need that fear, because putting all their control on their Clockwork is just not the way forward. Like, there's only so much Paulson can actually do for your entire team when he wants to hold down 5 heroes. He can only hold down 2 at best.
That is true. Massaros having a look over at Paulson. He doesn't realize he's there yet. Paulson didn't either. Massaros, he does have a step. Jab's going to be there to help him out, and they do use up the clock into an 8th of Remnant now. Paulson, he does not have the optional hook shot anymore. He's been silenced up, and he is going to die. A nice setup here from our Void Spirit as Arfu even hanging around, but Jabs has pinged him out now. Arfu going to have to make a run for it. Massaros kills off Arbit across the map. And Jabs is still chasing down Arfu, but Arfu is going to be fine to walk away from this one. I did not quite catch how Arbit died, though.
Yeah, it looks like they did manage to clump up. They do get the Swift Flash and In Your Dream onto Jabs, so they find that in exchange. Still not the ideal trade, though. Like, you definitely are still winning out in Fnatic. They do want to swap tips. They do send them out, but you can see the high ground now under siege. Fnatic, what's going to stop them? It's 3-on-4.
Reset. Jabs. Reset BBCD. Jabs. That may not have been meant for all chat, but there you go. Rack's going to be there in the mid lane, going down very quick to the exorcism out from Moon. It's pretty hard to stop this when you don't have all 5 heroes, and In Your Dream, going to use the Swift Slash. Not going to be anywhere near enough to slow it down, and Fnatic, of course, are very happy with that one lane of barracks. They will back off, and they are going to run into Arfu, who's trying to force Staff away, but now he's just stuck. He's buying himself time. His team is around, but there's just no way out of this one. He is definitely going to die. They even drop a healing wall to try and help him out, but that was not going to do the job.
True, man. It's getting really difficult. Like, the 6k lead for Fnatic isn't huge, but the fact that they're 1 racks up with this lineup, and their Spectre's already bouncing back in, like, this 2k gap that's been consistent between Raven and In Your Dream, now at 36 minutes isn't as big, although.
They found out Moon with a great hook shot out. Massaros, he's around. Raven even going to haunt in, and they are going to go straight after Arbet again. He has no way to purge off this silence. His Yules was used up. In fact, never mind, it was not. It was there, but it's just too late. Moon able to get the kill, and now looks like Jabs has found out Paulson. Paulson also going to die, and well, once again, John, these heroes do not have buyback.
It's just so awkward for Team Dog. They're coming out 1 by 1. They're getting picked off 1 by 1 as well. Abed, just his only defensive tool is the Yules, which is just not enough when you've got so much control on the side of Fnatic. They have Exorcism back up, and they're diving Fountainish.
Massaros does catch out the snap again. Arfu cannot be that far out of his fountain, apparently. And they're looking at tier 4 towers. They know the buybacks aren't there, so with this exorcism timing, they'll just keep going, and there's plenty of time here on Moon. With this ulti, it's a very, very difficult defense to go for, as now Massaros jumping in after the junk, but lets him go. There is a Swift Slash and an Omni Slash being committed, but DJ surviving, pops all the heals. They do get 1 support, but now their Ancient is exposed, and Massaros just jumping in after In Your Dream. They commit the egg. Paulson trying to take it out ASAP. He's doing a good job of it, but he's been used up. He will not get it in time. He is going to go down, and GG has been called by Arbed. They have had enough. This game too is over, and it is going to end up in a 1-1. And so these two teams are going to be stuck in a draw for that 4th place spot for now.
Yeah, a really even series overall. I think even game 1 was fairly close to a point, and it just kind of fell apart. In this case, Team Dog, it started going in 1 by 1. Their fights were a bit too split out. They really put all their eggs into Paulson to start these fights. Like, Ice as well didn't have the best Timbersaw game, but I don't think that was a big issue. Like, he's 0 to 8. He was buying the space out for his team. The issue was it was all down to Paulson. Like, I'm not saying it was Paulson's fault. It's that the draft really had a shortcoming there, where the only long-range way they had to start these fights were hook shots. Afu did not manage to farm up his Ag, so he didn't have the gobble-up place, and Abed opted for a very defensive build-up in the Quap. So once Fnatic saw that, once they found a couple of kills, they just built up, and, well, Raven carried him through in the end.
That they did. Of course, with that, John, that was series number 1. We do have 3 more series to go for tonight. And the next one coming up is going to be TNC versus Execration. As you like to call it, John, it's time for the Rambula coming up.
Oh, yes.
Don't go anywhere. Of course, we'll be back for our online Rambula between TNC and Execration. And it is, of course, MLP Dota and John X Fire joining you tonight. We'll see you all again in about 10 minutes for our next series of the night. See you soon.